How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the More Defined podcast. I'm your host, James Chapman Jr., and today we have Harmony Porter on the show today. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell a bit more about who she is and what she does.
Yeah, so my name is Harmony. I work as a live camera operator for sports at the University of Southern Mississippi. I do a lot of freelance work behind the scenes, whether that's like Hangout Fest. This year I did Sand in My Boots and just a whole bunch of things. I love what I do. I call myself a chaos junkie and it's just really fun.
All right. So the essence of the podcast is a conversation style podcast. And I like to start off everyone with a check-in, kind of like 1 to 10. How is everything kind of like going on in life, in your world, and everything like that? And once you answer, I can answer behind you.
I'd say that it's a good, probably 8 for the most part, just because there's, the 2 points deducted. I've had a lot of, recent issues as far as, my work. Trying to get stuff uploaded and to people has not been the best thing since I just came back from, working a different event. I'm having to get a hard drive fixed, so, that's my deduction. But I'm also, coming into some new things that I'm excited about, so, an 8.
I would say an 8 for me as well. I like to stay around that 8 to 9 range. I don't like to get too high on a lot of different things, but I try my best not to get too low on anything as well. So I would say an 8 for me too. So, All right. I'm going to start a little different with this one.
Different.
You've had a jam-packed summer. And I know you've done a good bit of traveling as well.
You noticed. No, I'm just kidding.
Could you speak on the impact this summer has had on you?
Yeah, so prior to the summer, for the last 2 years, I've been really 3, been trying to get some opportunity, this internship, and I've become a finalist for it twice, and so I'm okay, I was expecting for something to happen because my resume is so broad and just big, and a lot of people tell me all the time you have so much experience, you should already be working and stuff, why are you trying to get internships? And I'm meh, I just want this, it's cool. And so this summer, last year I didn't get anything, but this summer I was okay, well, either I get something or I don't. I already know the experience or what it feels like to not have the thing that I really, really wanted. So just leaning on the fact that if it's for me, it's for me. And I didn't get the internship that I wanted this summer, and as disappointing as that may seem, I just kind of opened up my heart and mind to be okay, well, obviously God has something planned for me. And so this summer, if I do the correct order, I just recently went through this with somebody, but so I did the Sand in My Boots festival and literally left from that festival and went straight to Boston for a missions trip. And so went from the missions trip, came back, and probably the next week, then I did this thing for a pageant, a sisterhood weekend, and then after that went to I'm trying to think of if my timeline's correctly. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, sisterhood things, just working with pageants. I went to California, BETX thing for my sister to perform, and I worked behind the scenes for her. I also went to some the Black Christian Influencers Conference as a VIP guest. It wasn't even just VIP, but special guesting, and I was crazy because I don't know how I did that. I mean, it was a God thing, but I literally was just debating probably a week or two before, oh, should we go to this? This costs money. I don't know if I, can invest to go in something like this. And then I ended up going for free, as a special guest because I answered some, I don't know. And then what else? Yeah, I just came back from DC working another thing. And all of these things would not have happened for me if I, didn't get that internship that I wanted. And if I didn't also open my heart to what's there for me, the impact of what all that stuff is giving. It's just opened my eyes because there's so much more still to come. And the people that I surrounded myself with this summer have also wow, Harmony, you have a lot. one that's going on already, but like a lot coming for you, and that, you know, you should really just like enjoy it. And so, yeah.
That's pretty interesting though. Like I know, especially that's how I feel about a lot of things. I really center in and focus on like one thing. It's like, all right, I want to get this, I want to do this, and then it's like it doesn't
Hmm.
happen. But a lot of doors and opportunities come after that, and just literally,
Hmm.
like you said, like it's obvious. God was like, "That's not for you, or at least not for right now. Like this
Hmm.
is for you." So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like my friends, I consider myself like, oh, not doing anything right now because I'm taking a break from school. But like literally, people have called me left and right, like, Harmony, can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
All right. So how I usually start. This is something that I ask all of my guests.
Mm-hmm.
At one moment, did you know, or did somebody tell you that you had the passion for being behind the camera?
I don't know. I've always like had a love for being behind the camera, and I forgot about it. Like when I
Mm.
was younger, I would literally look at how TV shows are made and like movies, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like I wonder how that was made. And then you get up into like high school, right, when they're like, you need to pick something that's gonna make you a lot of money. Like you need to like, you know, be a doctor or whatever like that. And this is not totally anything that I wanted to do. But I like, because of the stress of about to graduate, like about to fend for myself in this world, like I need to pick something. I forgot about like, oh, what the kid Harmony liked to do, like the
Mm.
little me wanted to do. And so I went through like trials and tribulations as one does, and really like found out by joining like another program that like, okay, like wait, I like this. I mean, I you know, have my church and all that I do stuff in, you know, all the time because my parents are pastors, and so they're like, you need a responsibility here, like like take this. So I really just like ran with that stuff. But from the program that I was in at my community college, like it brought me to an internship to where like I literally could do whatever I wanted to do. And so like from that point, people were like, okay, like you really like, you know what you're doing. And I'm like, what? No, I don't. Like, no, I don't. I just do stuff. And then, you know, even with the program, like that internship that I didn't get, there was a sub part to it, and so you got to like
Mm.
meet people that are a part of the program that are like mentors. And so I met like my mentor, and he brought me out to New Orleans to shoot a documentary for an entire week. And like he was just telling me like, oh man, like you're what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like not a genius. What's the word for like a prodigy? There you go.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "You're a prodigy." I'm like, Aren't I too old to be a prodigy? Like, you know, it's not how that works. But I mean, I can't. There's not like a specific time where it's like, oh, somebody said like this is like for you, because it's always been for me. Like
Mm.
it took me seeing that, you know.
What made you kind of want to go back to what the kid Harmony wanted to do and like?
Yeah. Really, I opened my eyes to realize like I lost myself and stuff. So like again, panicking of coming out of high school and going into college. I don't know people. I want to know people, but you know, also like with those people, there's a lot of like I was a part of soccer for a majority of my life. There's a lot of drama like involved with, you know, certain people in certain settings, and so just like seeing the decay in myself, I
Mm.
was like, whoa, what is this? And it took me, you know, being responding to someone in a way that's not like myself to really open up my eyes to say like, oh shoot, like that's not me, that wasn't me. And I like immediately apologized to that person, but like I was like, I don't like this. Let me do something different. And so then I started to like continue to look into like, okay, how can I get back to me? Because again, that ugly Harmony came out, and I don't like that, and I would not want anybody to like experience that ever again. But the kid me, like we would have just been like holding hands, skipping out. I want to do that. I want to have that like that feeling again. And so yeah, that's what I work towards like every day. Okay, like what do I really want to do? do I want to do this because I want to do it, or is it because like somebody's telling me like, oh, this is the best thing? Like I've literally had people tell me like, oh, you shouldn't try to help people the way that you do. I'm like, this is the way that the Lord has told me to, so I'm not really listening to you about that. Yeah.
All right. Talk about your love for God and where you're at with your faith walk right now.
Yeah. So I said my parents are pastors, so I grew up in the church. I wasn't born a pastor's kid. That started when I was like 8 or 9, like just like real deal like church life. And it I say all the time, like I'm thankful for the way that my parents like raised me in the church, because a lot of times you hear preacher's kid, you hear like the stereotype, they're not allowed to do anything. Um, they're not allowed to like, do a lot of stuff. And, sometimes that may have been true. Like when I was younger, I didn't really understand. And so part of it was kind of like, oh, like, man, I want to do what my friends do. But also I think about like, man, they protected me from a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff that I could have, easily gone through back in the day. But they never forced like the Bible on us too. They never like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, and X, Y, Z. No, they gave us that responsibility that we had to do in the church. Like my sisters sing in the choir, I worked the equipment. Like we had to do something, but it was never like read your Bible 10 times a day and recite the scripture back. And so, yeah, for some people that's a reality. For me, that wasn't. And so it allowed me to develop my own relationship with God and just kind of like find him. Because I always knew him. I used to tell people all the time, like, if it's my time to go, it's my time. I don't know if you remember that. I'm devoted to the Lord. But it takes like your own experiences for you to find that like relationship with him. And so, I went through college. I went through all the stuff that I went through. And then again, but at the same time that I was developing like, or finding myself and refinding my identity, I refound Christ. Like it wasn't like I lost my love for God, but it was like, obviously God's not where I'm at, like in this moment, because I'm like depending on other people, which is why I'm falling apart. And so, at that same time, I'm like, okay, I need to do something different. I need to like dive into the word. I need to like seek, like faith-filled counsel. And then I found, a campus ministry that I'm actually a part of and I'm a leader in now. And so like that has just transformed a lot, because then I found a community of people that actually care, that are like-minded, that are like, okay, you need to do right. Like you need to do right by this life because you only got one. So, I mean, it's been just truly, truly like, eye-opening with that campus ministry, but just anyways, surrounding myself around those people.
I love that. I definitely love that. I know a lot of times it feels like it's easy to like say we're still connected with the Lord and everything, but it kind of takes some of those moments to like reconnect or like refine ourselves, along with having that relationship start back up again. So I definitely love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've talked a good bit so far about kind of how you've had a shift early on in life, because we're both still young, and you graduated from Ridgeland just like I did and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What parts of you do you still feel like you identify with though, from like the little bit of younger self?
Really just like the creative like bits and pieces, because I through schooling was in like the gifted program, and not a lot of people get to experience that, but I got to like at least once a day like just do something just because like I wanted to do it, and it was so much fun. And so like anytime that I get to do projects where it's like, okay, like it's not often that I get to sit down and like paint something or whatever, but that's something that I did a lot like in high school, like just would paint stuff for people just because, and like tried to make a little money like my freshman year doing some of that too. But it's not often that I get to do that anymore, but when I do it, I'm like actually like invested in it.
Yeah.
I also used to like, I took sewing lessons when I was younger, and not a lot of people know that, but for my pageant I actually like made one of my dresses, And that was me sitting down at the table, like doing that and fully, like feeling that full creative side. So I feel like it's really just that.
Okay. As you mentioned too, you're a former athlete.
Hmm.
What led you ultimately to becoming interested in playing in sports?
I mean, I was playing since I was like 5. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I took a. It was probably like 5 to 8 or 9 that I was like playing soccer, and then had to stop because like allergies run deep in my family, and
I
so
understand.
my sister was deep. My little sister was deeply affected by like the pollen and all of that, and like I was too, but it wasn't as strong. But my family was like, okay, like we got to do something, like maybe we'll find something, it's indoor soccer. Now that's very, very popular, but back in the day it wasn't. And so they were like, well, we'll try to find that, but there wasn't much of anything to do. And so I kind of like took a break for a good minute, and then in middle school got back into it. And so it's been a part of my life for a long time, and I'm only 2 years retired. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Do you still kind of have that like competitive itch in a sense?
Of course. I love competing. I don't play as much now, and I should. And a lot of people ask me to come back to the field, especially like here at USM. But like not the team. I don't want to mix that up.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
the actual team, but the guys playing around on campus. I play around with
yeah.
them. Um, but even if there's like, I love games, like board games and all of that. And so I'm like, all right, let's get this. Like, I want to win. That's my competitive side, like pouring out. So it's still there.
All right, like you mentioned too, you're currently attending USM Southern Miss.
Mm,
What made you choose to attend there?
wasn't really. I did not choose to go to USM. The Lord chose for me to go to USM. I So like I said, I went to community college. I went to one to play soccer at, then I transferred to another, graduated there, and then this was in the midst of me losing my mind and losing myself and trying to figure out what to do. I was like, I don't know what's happening. And I got a job offer here in Hattiesburg to work in a
Hmm.
news station. And so I worked at this news station for a good minute. But prior to that, I was like really, really struggling. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what my next steps should be. But I was so against going back to school because in my field, you don't have to go and get like the highest degree, become a
Yeah,
doctor to
yeah.
work behind the like that's just not something, like you need skill. And I know that's something that I have, but it's also like I didn't like know how to tell that to people. Like, how do I just advertise this, that I could do this work? So I was really just like scared and panicking. But I was like, school is just not for me though. I don't want to do it. So I spent like a year in news. I had asked a whole bunch of people too, and a lot of people that are in the field were like, yeah, don't do it. And so I wasn't going to do it. And then while I was there working at that news station, I was like, man, I really don't like it. I already knew I didn't like it 2 years before I joined it, but I knew that I did not like having to wake up at 4 a.m. and then like go to the station and sit there. I was in TMP, so I like sat at a desk all day watching TV. I mean, like the TV part was fine, when the good shows came on, but I was sleep deprived. I was like it was just a lot of like stuff that I wasn't comfortable with
Hmm.
anymore and just to deal with. And so I was like, man, like I need to do something else. Like I know this is not for me to stay at for a long time. And God has put me in places where He's like, I want you. I mean, well, really for anybody, but like, there's a season in your life that you go to these places and to do life in, and then after that, you're supposed to leave. And so, um, right when I was like making a difference in that news station, I was like, changing around some things. The bosses are looking at me and they're like, Harmony, what should we? And I'm like, whoa, I'm just a mere girl. Like, I just don't. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, like once I started to realize, okay, I have made my impact, like, it's time for me to do something else, but I don't know what to do. And I just started praying about it, and the Lord was like, you need to go back to school. And I was like, Lord, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. And so I sat with that thought for a couple months, and it's like, man, I really, 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 really don't want to. And I happened to, sorry, like all these tears and stuff. I'm not really crying, but anyways, like I was walking around like USM campus just to get my exercise in, and
Mm-hmm.
one of my friends from a prior school had texted me and was like, hey, you want to come to this Bible study? And I was like, well, Bible study, cool, grew up around that, like that's fine. But I've been here for an entire year, didn't talk to anybody. I didn't know that anybody was around me, so I was by myself. So I was like, okay, yeah, like might as well. I'm a little scared, but then she said food, and I was like, bet. And so I, I went, and it just changed everything for me. And that was the campus ministry that that I'm a part of now. I found that group of community that I was like, okay, this is what I want to be a part of. This is something that I actually wanted to start at my other, like my community colleges, but I wasn't able to because people didn't take me serious, and I didn't take myself like serious enough at that moment in time. And so like yeah, so going there and experiencing there, then I knew that it was okay to make that transition. And I didn't have all of the means and all of that, like I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just deciding like to trust the Lord with that. So yeah.
I can sense the theme of your life the last couple of years is basically I'm just go wherever the Lord tells me and we'll
I'm
figure it out
floating.
later.
I'm
Yeah.
floating. He's just guiding me, taking my hand, and I'm like, all right, Lord, cool.
Speak a little bit more about the faith-based ministry that you're in on campus and like how
Mm-hmm.
you're a leader now.
Yeah, so the name is Chi Alpha. It stands for Christ Ambassadors. It's like not a lot of people have heard about it, and then it's I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's a really, really good, like on our campus, it's a
Mm,
really, really good, like community. Our core values is, real family, real mission, and real devotional life, like worship. And so that's like what we do. And so we have like Bible studies like once a week, and then a big service once a month. And that's like where everybody gets together and just, you know, worship the Lord, but also just hang out, like fellowship even further. And like though that's that time for it, large group is that time for it, we hang out with each other all the time. Like it's really like when I say real community, it's like
mm,
those are my actual like brothers and sisters in Christ. Like everybody is, your brothers and sisters in Christ, but people that you can lean on, cry to. I've messed up my dad's truck, and I was real scared about it. And you know who the people that I called first? Them. I called my people in that group. They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna die. So could you help me? Could you help me figure out this problem?" And sure enough, they came. And one of the guys is like denting out, trying to get the dents out of the truck. And the girls that came and they brought me like ice cream, and they were like, "It's gonna be okay." I'm just like, bro, I've never had this before in my life. Like, who are these people? This is so weird. And I even tell people too, I'm like, this is so like, it's a little strange. Like, you might
yeah.
think that like we're a little weird, but we're not. Like, this is real. It's real life,
Mm,
and everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your story, like your story, because it's important. Because we love to know like in anybody that comes across. And so yeah, I ended up joining Chi Alpha before becoming a student, which is part of my story changing, because I went on that walk, and that's what it was. And so even at that point in time, I went to a fall retreat, and that's like an event that we have once a year that's like heaven on earth, where we go and hang out with each other and with other Chi Alphas across the state and just party for the Lord. And from there, like at that point, I had conversations with people that didn't really truly like know me, but they're like, I see something, like
mm,
there's a light, there's a thing like that's coming, something big is like happening for you, and you just need to stay with the Lord. And so I did, and people kept coming to me too. It was like, you're gonna be a small group leader. I'm like, No, I'm not gonna do it, because I taught Bible study when I was a kid, but not Bible study, but Sunday school when I was a kid. But like, people my own age, I've always been scared of that, and it's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, and it was a lot of back and forth. And most of the times, if it's like that, then it's really the place where God needs you to be, because it's like you'll fight for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, like, here it is. This is your life now. So yeah, I went to some event, and I heard like some things at this event, and I was like, I don't like necessarily what they're saying, but I can make a difference in that area of which they're like speaking about. And I don't want them to represent, my people at all. Like, I want to be that representation. And so at that point, I looked at our campus masters at the time, and I was like, hey, I guess it's time for me to become a small group leader. I was like, I didn't want to do this, but this is the Lord pulling me, and there's no other way to stop this feeling. So I've been a small group leader for, well, my goodness, how many semesters? Probably 2 or 3. And it's been fun. It's been like a lot of ups and downs because you're trying to figure it out, obviously, because I think I struggled for a good bit of time of like being like, who am I, like, to teach somebody the Bible? Like, I'm not like, downright everyday deep dive into scripture as like I should be, like, and how can I teach somebody? But I think, in general, we all should tell like each person like the gospel, like from what we know, like, because in our lives there's there are our own stories that we've dealt with, that we've had God encounters, and that's enough that can be shared to get somebody to come to Christ. Like, that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting how you literally said that last line, because I gave a testimony at my church during revival earlier in the week, and it was something I really didn't want to do, and I was fighting back and forth about it. But one of the things I said in the beginning of that testimony was that the only thing that I can truly talk about is my own experiences and my own walk with God, and so that's really what it is for me, because I'm not super Bible thumper, or like somebody who has like very big philosophical speech about the Lord and his teachings and stuff. But if I can talk about my experiences and kind of like my inner workings in my life with those God moments, then I know it'll be easier to share. So.
Yeah, that's literally what I do in my group. Like, if I don't know everything, first off, I let it be known to them, because I'm like, like, y'all, I'm not the brightest Bible scholar. No, I'm not gonna say that about myself, but I let them know I'm a real person, and that I struggle with my own like things, and when trying to share like the specific scripture, to make sure that they get it and that it's submitted in them, I'm like, okay, so here's my story, like, here's what I went through, so you don't have to go through that. Like, that's how you do it. Yep.
All right. As you mentioned, you do freelance work. Can you talk about your vision for the Harmony Network and Harmony Productions?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Harmony Network is actually a name that I had since I was little. Like, believe it or not, like, I made it when I was little, and I was like, I want to do something with this. Forgot about what I was going to do with it, and went through this whole like revamping process. And so when I created Harmony Network, a lot of times when people would just put their name and stuff and just like don't really, because they just want to like own it. But my name means stuff, and it means unity, just like coming together on one accord. And so Harmony, and then network is people that are in this whole like system. And so Harmony Network together, I want it to be a space where people come together and just create, just because like they love to. And it's of course like different ideas, but like also we're in one mind of like, we want to make a difference. And so that's what Harmony Network is. And the subsection of that is my other platform, She Makes Good Media. It's She Who Harnesses Entertainment Makes Good Media. And that's where I'm just like encouraging young women and like women of all ages really how to like make it in this behind the scenes world, because there's a lot of things behind the scenes in general is like a man dominated
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I've gone through my fair share of like trials, in the industry, but I also love what I do enough to say like, okay, I'm not gonna ride with this negativity. I'm not gonna just do something that a man told me not to say it like that, but just kind of like, I don't want to be belittled in these spaces. Like, I want to bring, confidence in myself, but also bring other women into it and make them feel comfortable as well. And so that's what that part is. I've been in a lot of works. I'm working on my own like little podcast at some point. It's supposed to be coming out, but because of all the things I've been doing this summer, it's kind of been hard.
Hey,
But
take your
yeah,
time. Trust
yeah.
me. Take your time.
I'm trying to get it together. But yeah, so Harmony Productions, it's H Production Co, but Harmony Productions is the same thing. Harmony, unity, collaborative, like efforts, and then like obviously production. And so it's just me making and doing whatever. I mean, it's not necessarily whatever because you gotta stay in your
Yeah.
like lane, but literally like I have people all the time like, Harmony, can you do this for me? And I'm like, I guess. Like, I've never thought of myself. I don't want to be the boss like for myself because I'm like, I need somebody to tell me what to do. So like, it's still in its own works, but it's definitely like where I can just do whatever and showcase like the stuff that I like.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. What made you want to? Well, what did you start with first? Photography or like videography?
I mean, I guess photography, like, but videos have always been my thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, younger, hand had camera in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they just, here you go, Harmony, here's the toy. And I'm like, ooh, yay. And just like taking pictures of people. But like videos, I just love the idea of storytelling. I love life, like in general. When I watch TV shows, my favorite TV shows are based off of like the fact that, do these characters have character development? Do they learn lessons? Like, I really love back in the old days TV because you get to learn like the lessons that come through life. Like, oh, you don't have to like run into this issue. Like, you just lean on your family, like that type of thing. So I love shows like that. I really like documentaries because they
Mm.
teach the lessons as well, and there's this history, behind that. And so, having the camera in hand, that's your opportunity to do that, to capture that, like the special moments. Because I mean, nowadays we're living in a quick time, and where we get like this short form content, obviously, and that's more popular. But then you miss like the meat of it, like what's
Yeah.
actually like happening like in your life. Like, people are like all the time like, oh, I'm not really sharing like this parts of my story, because I want to filter what you see. But like, well, the other part could have a way bigger like audience and impact if you like let them in. And so like that's my favorite part, or just like doing video, like, yeah.
You mentioned it just a moment ago. She makes good media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know you just said too, you don't necessarily like being the boss, but where do you see your is it based solely mentoring program, or is it kind of like more encompassing? Um,
It's mainly a mentoring program. I
mm,
feel, but it is also, again, like I said, it's a sub part of Harmony Network.
I
I
got you.
want
Yeah.
to bring in like even how to videos, just as far as like storytelling, what type of camera shots that you should use to impact people, because like you don't realize it. Like, let's think of church for instance. Like, okay, if somebody's not there, they don't know what's going on besides like the pastor on the stage or
Yeah.
like the singers. But like the emotion in the room, like when you're in the room you feel that. And so like having those different type of camera shots can allow you to have that same experience like back at home. And so being able to teach that, and She Makes Good Media, but Harmony Network as well, is like something that I really like want to do. So again, it's in the works, but it's already there. I have it planned out, so
I definitely look forward to seeing more of that for sure.
trying trying to get there.
How did you initially hear about or get into the pageant space?
I mean, well, I so you know me, James. I did not not a girly girl. Grew up with all the sports. You saw me try to play football with the guys like out there. I actually did that like in elementary school and oh was it? Yeah, in elementary school, like me and my friend, we were playing on the playground with the guys, and then like one of us got hurt. I think it was her, but like then we got banned. Everybody was banned for like girls and guys are playing against each other, and so that was really ridiculous. But I always, when I was younger, saw like the pageants like on the TV. Like whenever I would come
Mm,
across them, I'm like, whoa, this is like really cool. Like they're beautiful women. Like this is like wow. But I'm a tomboy. I don't wear dresses. I don't know anything about that lifestyle. But this is so cool. Like I want to be that one day, but I don't know like how to get there because there's this. It seems to be this like one image of like what this
mm,
person looks like, and so it wasn't. I don't think I ever like really thought to try it until one of my friends was competing when we were in Hines and she won. But prior to that, I was like, a counselor of mine had told me like, oh, y'all need to invest. It was a soccer counselor, so she was talking to all of us, but she was like, y'all need to invest into getting into more scholarship programs, and you should try this pageant, and it will give you scholarships. And so I was like, I want to try it because I need the money, but like I also am scared because I don't know what to do. And then I was talking to my friend and she was like, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, okay, like well we can do this together. And then she's telling me the amount of paperwork that we have to do and then that and you know and I was like, oh, I'm good on that. Like I'm good. I don't want to do the paperwork. And so I didn't do it and I like, sat with her, helped her like prepare and she won and it was like so like shocking because one she was the first one in Utica to win and two she went like we were not prepared for this to happen like we literally were just like we'll just sign up didn't tell anybody like she didn't tell anybody at all like I was the only one that knew and she won and she had the biggest like expression on her face and I was like at my competitive side I was like man if I would have done it I would have
yeah,
beat her
yeah.
and like I would have beat her. And she knows that I will say this, but because the judge she in her room they were telling her that they wanted somebody different from that like thing that you would always see that stereotype and all that. They wanted something different. I was like, man, I could have beaten my friend like um. And so from that, like helping her prepare and just seeing her compete at a state level, I was like, man, if she could do it, I could do it.
Mm,
Like literally, because if I could have beat her, then I could have been in this place and position, but I wasn't ready for all of that. But seeing it and being able to help her to go through that process, I was like, okay, I want to try this. Like I want to give this a shot. And so I think like a year later I got into it and like did my first like prelim, and it was actually here in Hattiesburg, and it was something. It was something. It was an experience, but I was like, man, I don't know, like if I can do this, like it's gonna take a lot of work and investment. But people were coming up to me, and like a contestant backstage, her mom was like texting her and was like, whoa, that girl, she's good, like she's really good. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like I don't know anything. Like I literally signed up a week before, practiced for only a week, and that was it. I started from there and was like preparing for other pageants, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I just need to find like my why. Because a lot of the times you get into stuff and because it looks cool and because somebody else like told you
mm,
to.
mm,
But there's in a lot of pageant systems there's like a thing called a community service initiative or in the pageant that I'm in, it's a serve initiative. What is something that you want to care about? Back in the day, I was like, well, what is it that I want to pretend to care about? Like, I literally told people, I was like, I need to find something to pretend to care about because like I don't know what to do. But after failing in a pageant that I thought that I was gonna win when it was two people, I was like, hold on, like it was supposed to be me. Like I got a little big head. I was like, it was supposed to be me, but I need to fix something. And after a while, my friend telling me to be in this organization that I'm a part of now, I like looked it up and I was like, okay, like service, like what is service? being able to be responsible, like or a disciple, but follower of Christ, and like going to lean on people and make an impact on people. Like, okay, what do I want to do with that? And so I found like She Makes Good Media, and transpired that to even more. And the system that I'm a part of, Miss Volunteer America, I am Miss Hattiesburg volunteer right now. Like, this system is just amazing. The community within that is amazing. There's real sisterhood. There's real people that like care about you, that want to see like you grow, especially like in our the state. The board members, they're like incredible and they look after you. I've literally, one of my friends, my best friend that I gained from pageants, she like she knows me. like like anything, my expressions, like how I respond, she's like, Harmony, like, are you sure? She has literally helped me she sends me dresses. She doesn't even ask. She's just like, okay, you want to try this dress, I'm like, okay. She and the director had a conversation recently and was like, oh, he was like, how's Harmony? And then she answered it, and then she was like, well, she really wants to come back again. She just worried about money, of course, and da da da. He was like, well, you let her know that, like, she could be on a payment plan. Like, we want her here. Like, we know she's scared of asking, so you just go ahead and do that for us. And I'm like, my people, like, I love them. So it's really been a great experience as well, because again, stereotypes and people saying like, oh, it's just the beauty side, but there's so much more. I wouldn't be able to speak to you like this, like how I do now, if it wasn't for pageants and just being able to like learn and grow myself from it.
Oh man, that's awesome. That really is, because like you said, there's stereotype is very strong. But just seeing you post about the things that you post about in your experiences, from the Miss Volunteer side, I was like, okay, there's a lot more to the pageant system as a whole. Also, because you mentioned it earlier, you've done a little bit of traveling with other pageant work.
Yeah.
Talk about just the pageant system as a whole and like some of the relationships you've been able to gain from it.
So which pageant system? No, I'm just kidding. So I work for one and compete in one. That's where I'm like, which one?
I guess you could talk a little bit more about, I guess, the one that you're working for now. So
yeah, so I am currently working for the Miss Black USA org, and this is really wild because like 3 months ago, like I was like, what am I doing? This was the prelim that I did, and I was like, I should have won. Like, like, what is this? And I was so like just taken aback from that time. I was like, one day I'm gonna make it to the top. I've said that. I was like, one day I'm gonna make it to the top and make some type of difference in this organization. And so just I've been working towards, just competing and like doing the stuff that I know how to do. Not necessarily like working towards my, like, I call it an evil plan, but my dad told me not to call it an evil plan. But like working towards a plan to like make it up there. I just kind of like, it was just letting it, go by. And they had posted about something like 4 months ago, just like who wants to be an executive intern and be a part of this experience, make a difference. And so I did that. I applied. I did everything that they told me to. And for a good like month and a half, heard nothing. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, they should be narrowing down their pick by now. They should be picking somebody. And then eventually they announced who they wanted to win, or excuse me, who they chose for the internship position. And they didn't say anything back. And I was kind of like, okay, this is so strange. Like, this shouldn't be happening. This is a little weird. And about like another month and a half, then I was reached out to by the organization through email, and they said that they had saw all the stuff that I did, and the internship that I had applied for was something towards an area that I wasn't specifically like in, but they saw my resume, they saw everything that I could do, and they were like, they really wanted me to be a part of their team. And so they created an opportunity for me, an internship for me to be a part of and to work my magic during videos and just storytelling and all that jazz. And so did that, got signed aboard. They even told me that I was coming to nationals and spent a whole week there and working there, and went to nationals. And after that experience was over, I didn't leave there as an intern anymore. I left as an actual producer of the pageant. And so that was really, really cool, and I'm grateful for that. And had it not been for the disappointments in the other areas that I really, really wanted and was trying so hard to work towards, if it wasn't for not getting that and failing in those aspects that I really thought I was working hard in, I wouldn't have gotten to this point where I have an actual leadership role and to be able to tell the stories that I wanted to create at that smaller level.
All right, we're moving on to our last segment. It can be a little quick if you want it to be. What do you like or love about Hattiesburg that's a little bit different from the Jackson area?
When I go back home, I'm with, my family, my grandma, just hanging out with them. It's not I'm not impressed by Hattiesburg. I'm not impressed by Ridgeland. There's nothing going on. I mean, but
Yeah.
it's my love for people and just connecting and just laughing, playing games and all of that. And that's what makes things really, truly feel like home for real.
Okay. This one, this is my first time asking this specific
Okay.
question. But if you can't really think too in depth, you don't really have to worry about it. It can be right off the top of your head.
Okay.
Give me 3 to 5 people that you recommend to check out. Just kind of in a general sense or whatever. It could be within the media space, anything with the pageants, anything with your campus-based ministry or something. It could be anything.
Give you what? People,
3 to 5 people that I recommend to check out.
Check out you. Check out what?
Just to see who they're about or whatnot, or give them their props about what they do.
Okay. So campus ministry. So the funny thing again with Chi Alpha is we get to connect with all the Chi Alphas in the state, and so connecting with people at MSU. Destiny Owa, who actually went to our school as well. She's younger than us, but I've connected with her, and she has a podcast, and she's just a really beautiful person, and I definitely think she would be a great guest. She's awesome. I literally call her and I'm like, I need help, even though she's 3 years younger. I'm like, I need help.
Yeah.
Help me out. Her. Another Destiny that I know, she's working now as a school teacher, but she's awesome, and just the fact of representing any other whether it's music, art, and all that, she loves to have that type of stuff in her classroom, and so to be able to talk about that and just the impact of what the arts could do for kids in school, and I think that would be really cool. I can't think of any other people off the top of my head that could come, but those are some great people.
All right, cool. I'll probably reword that question. Like I said, it was my first time asking that one.
Okay.
All right, this is the last question. I'm reading it a little slow. If you owned a library, what kind of library would you own? A regular book library, a movie/TV show library, or a music library?
Well, I would have started out with no library. I don't like to read, but I just don't, plain and simple. But the movie and TV show library, kind of my realm of things. Because books are not it. You wouldn't even catch me in the library unless it's to meet with my friends. But sorry to that world. But yeah.
LOL. Well, Harmony, thank you for giving me some of your time today and being able to share your story and some of your experiences. I definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, because I was like, what? Me selected for this? It's really cool. My first interview, so I hope I wasn't a bad guest.
No, okay. Not at all. Not at all. Cool. Definitely got that. This is your first interview, but no, far from a bad guest.
Okay, great.
All right, guys, this is more defined. We'll see y'all next time.